Oh, hi guys, welcome back to my channel.
Behind, right?
Yes. I'd probably try to turn around a little bit more as well. Just get a little bit.
All of the boats right here that you see are rentals. What's up guys? Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Pasensya na pala kayo kasi kailangan kong i-turn off yung original na sound dahil sa copyright. Andito ako ngayon sa town pa rin ng Julian, dito sa Eagle Mining Company. Ito yung dating minahan nila ng ginto pero close na siya ngayon. Mamaya ipakikita ko sa inyo yung paraan kung paano hiwalay ang gold sa buhangin o yung sa bato na pulverize na. Pero bago yan, ililibot ko muna kayo rito. Grabe, ito pala yung lumang washing machine dati. May tag pa yung brand. Matagal na pala tong brand itong may tag na to. Ito rin lumang washing machine. Ito yung pagkababan yung na para matanggal yung tubig. I-squeeze niyan. Mayroong hagdan dito. Ano to rito? Para rin yata sa gold mine yan. Solid na bakal dito. Papatayan ito. Picnic area nila. Ito rito. Parang maliit na sementeryo.
What you're doing here is you're creating fissures. Those fissures are allowing your base metals to get to the bottom. That's going to include your gold. So anything that's more dense than the sand is going to end up on the bottom of your pan, so you hope. Then what you want to do is you want to find those ridges. Those are cheater ridges. Your tin pans are not going to have those. And then you want to bring it in at 8 o'clock. You want to bring the water in. It's called a backwash at 8 o'clock. You want to bring the water around and throw some debris off at 10 o'clock. So basically you bring the water in and you're throwing the water out. Each time, counterclockwise motion if you're right-handed. And all your big stuff should come to the top and start to rinse away. If you're lucky and you're doing this the right way, you'll start to see some fine sand and some parking lot gravel rise to the top. That big sand rising to the top is the stuff you want to rinse out. So the next stage, you're going to see that you're starting to get real fine sand developed by your right thumb. That fine sand is important. That's where your base metals are going to go. So you're basically washing the top layer of debris. When you're washing the top layer of debris, look for stuff, especially when you're out in the wild. Some of the minerals aren't going to be as dense as the gold, so you may, like the parking lot gravel, you may come across, we have a garnet reserve here out towards Ramona, so you might find garnet. You might find amethyst here. There's a good chance you can find obsidian out here. Obsidian's pretty common. So remember, you're not only panning for gold, you're panning for those minerals as well. So you're going to continue this. It's a very patient process. I familiarize and compare everything to fly fishing. So again, if you're fly fishing, you're going to put on your waders, you're going to tie your tippet to your fly line to your leader to your fly, and then you're going to walk down in your waders about a quarter mile to your favorite fishing hole at 4:45 in the morning. It's not going to be very warm, just like it's not when panning. You have to get in the water a little bit, most likely. That's going to be cold. And then when you finally do to get to your fishing hole, there's usually 20 people fly fishing. Now, it's not illegal to fly fish, just like it's not illegal to pan next to somebody. Etiquette-wise, it's not cool, but it's not illegal, so you're not going to shoot anybody over it. That's for sure. So when you're panning like this, you just want to kind of find your own isolated area and mind the people that are near you. It's become a very popular sport, just as our hobby, just like fly fishing has become. You'll see a lot of people up in the eastern Sierras today, especially after a large snow melt, April and May. It's a great time to go panning up there. You'll see them, they'll carry a collapsible fly rod, and they'll have their gold pan right next to them on the back. You have that and some way to start a fire, and you're set. You're going to pan for riches. You're going to be able to feed yourself. You pretty much don't have to carry anything but water. And even then, there's plenty of water in the creek. Just want to make sure you purify it before you drink it. So next, when you get to 2 or 3 tablespoons, you're going to go to what's called an agitation stage. That agitation stage is going to be the same tilt as your backwash. However, you want to make sure that you keep the pan at an angle, that you're just rinsing the sand off, and that the gold stays in those ridges. Now with these ridges here, you have 3 chances at your gold. So you're hoping at the end of this is called a finish, that you have something. Now, there's a lot of gold in these troughs, but every time is not a winner. You're gonna get skunked a lot. I get skunked still about 5 out of 7 times. But if I do it right, it's very hard to talk while you're doing this too. It's called multitasking. So when you're doing this as well, you want to make sure your technique's good. And if you're lucky, that's the kind of gold you will find. This is Alaskan ingot. This ingot gold is actually a step grade bigger than our placer gold here. So when you're panning for gold here, our gold is actually going to be smaller than this. Our flakes are going to be smaller. Now in the old days, you would take this with your finger and you would put it inside your leather poke and you would rub your finger inside the leather poke. The water would drain through the leather and you would form a gold residue inside that poke. You see the Western movies where they have 3/4 of a bag full of gold dust and they're like, Eureka. That's all BS. That's Hollywood for you. Typically what happens is you do that, you rub the finger inside your poke. If you wait 20 or 30 days and you've done this for 10 hours a day for 20 or 30 days, you could develop at least an ounce of gold the size of a sugar cube. That would be about $20. So panning in 1870, you would be left with basically about $20 a month. So that's less than $1 a day panning for gold. You could come up here and make a fair day's wage, $1.50 a day, and pickaxe through the mountain, or you could work in town in the laundry or something. That would make about 75 cents to $1 a day. You did have a 4th option, that was called stagecoach robbery. Stagecoach robbery didn't have a 401k or a retirement plan, so that was not a good way to go. We did have a famous outlaw here named Black Bart. You probably heard of him. Very famous. He was a pirate. He sailed into Point Loma. He was 15 years on the South Pacific robbing ships. Came into Point Loma, fell in love with San Diego like we all have, and then sure enough, he stays the rest of the time, turns into a land turtle, never gets on a ship again. He robs 3 Wells Fargo stagecoaches and was never caught. It's rumored that the gold bars are buried somewhere in the 200 mines in the Cuyamacas. So if you guys find it today, please, I'll give you my cell number and you can call me. And I'll let you know where I found it. Other than that, we think that the gold is really in the 200 mines. It's in a shaft down here somewhere. The reason for that is you could not spend the gold bars. They were traced. You would have to shave the gold bars in order to turn it into a dust. They could tell where it came from. So only the $20 golden eagle pieces could he spend. So that means he had to bury his gold.
Am I putting this gold back in?
Yes. So when you're finished and you found gold, if you'll just go the opposite way than scraping, you go this way, dig the pan to the bottom, and just replace the gold like that. That would be fantastic. It is catch and release. I'm sorry. If we let you keep the gold, we go broke really fast. There's plenty of gold in this mine still too. We're gonna see some gold when we go in the mine. You're gonna wonder why nobody's mining it out, and there's a bunch of reasons for that. California is the biggest reason. California will not allow you to use chemicals like mercury, cyanide, borax, and it takes 1 million gallons of water to run that stamp mill machine that you just learned about. It also takes a lot of water, as you know, to pan out commercially if you were to get on an agitation table. Very, very difficult to extract the gold from here. So here we sit as a tourist attraction. It's much more lucrative that way than it would ever be as a gold mine. Plus the mercury stuff, I'm sure, is in the groundwater here, even from 1870. We're on a well system. We've done water testing up here, and we're sure that we have lead and mercury from the gold mining days still in our well system. So again, another reason why they're not ever going to allow us to gold mine commercially up here. So if you guys are done, we'll start heading into the mountain. We're going to be about 30 minutes in there, maybe 40 if you're lucky. If you have an aversion to heights, narrow stairs, darkness, or tight spaces, this probably isn't the tour for you. But come on in. Come going.